Coming to you live from Plug Kid Studios in beautiful Largo, Florida. We are keeping you plugged in with episode 269 of F5 Live. Refreshing technology.
This week, Apple shows Samsung its 7 inches of glory, Amazon rocks it with only 4, and Zynga sees EAs and wants one just like it.
Ooh, girl.
I don't know that I want to engage you in conversation right now.
Nick! I smell it. It all fits in. I'm talking about that new tech smell. It's always here, Scott, because this show right here, this one right here is part of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. I'm Nick.
And I'm Scott.
And we're here.
I see us.
Wherever you may be and however you may be accessing our show, whether it be Facebook, iTunes, Zune, F5Live.tv, or any of our streaming services. Thanks for making us part of your day. But of course, there is one place you can go to get all of our content as it happens on your phone, computer, or awesomely cool Microsoft Surface when it comes out, is by going to F5Live.tv, clicking the subscribe buttons over on the right-hand side. Audio, video, social, and special events for you. Now that, of course, is for our zombie listener, I like to call them, the one who doesn't listen to us live. We are live Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, and our content gets posted shortly after that, so you have it late Sunday night, early Monday morning, probably towards the early side because Olympics kind of take precedence around this time of year.
Yes, they do.
But you still get your content for your Monday morning dreadful drive to work. And that's all well and good. You get studio quality sound, all the content as it happens. You're subscribed. Thank you. But there is an incentive for listening to us live, and that's not only because if we don't do our shows live, it takes us 3 hours. So we do them live for us, but we do them live for you. And that's the fact that you can chat with us live in the studio every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time by going to f5live.tv/join us. And stay tuned. Incentive. The live listeners get this. Zombies don't. The epic award-winning, spine-chilling, bone-tingling, ear-curdling post-plug. Post-plug. For 10 minutes after the show, chat with us off the record. We want to talk to our fans. For right now, I want to talk about something I mentioned. Special events. Just a little bit ago. And I say that because a special event is happening really soon. We will be in Miami, Florida at the wonderful Miami Martin Airport Convention Center in Miami for MizuCon.
Hooray, MizuCon!
We will be there along with the 3000 Brigade, so you have to as well. But if you don't live in the South Florida region, you can subscribe to us and you can chat with us during our live streaming all weekend long, and to stay in tune with the other news that happens as the convention progresses. We will be running production on the 3000 Brigade show, which is sure to deliver another amazing experience.
It always is.
Don't miss out.
It's always wonderful.
Don't miss out. Avram Pilch will be on the show in just a little bit. The online editorial director. I picked that name up, put it in my pocket, and he'll be on with 15 things his son will be using when he gets older. Instead of a couple of weeks ago, we talked about 15 tech he won't use when he gets older, and took pictures of each of them. It's an awesome thing. You gotta go check it out. But he'll be on in just a couple of minutes. 20 minutes from now?
Yeah, something like that.
Nothing going on with it. We've seen a lot of each other this week.
We have. We've also seen a lot of the Olympics this week.
Yeah, that's been happening. We are mad right now.
Yes. Because as we speak, live in the studio, they are running the May Trainer beach volleyball quarterfinal?
Yes, quarterfinals. And we watched the other quarterfinals earlier today.
Yes.
The Americanos swept again.
So that's, it is happening right now, and here we sit.
I don't like it.
Talking to you.
I don't like it. Well, you know, it's not...
There's a television right below our camera that we turned off.
Let's be fair.
Focus for you guys.
Yeah, that's not why. Let's be fair. It's on tape delay.
It's true. It happened hours ago.
We're just going to watch it on tape delay again.
Yes.
So I'm not as mad. If it was live, I'd be pissed.
Like the one we watched earlier.
Yeah.
That would have been too much.
So what we're going to do is we're going to blow through this show. We're going to fly through it so fast. Avram's going to be on like 7 minutes. No.
Be prepared there, buddy.
You're going to get a warning. It's going to be like, now. Call it now. Now.
Right meow.
Right meow, call it.
Wait, what? No, that was the other volleyball game.
Yes.
Meow.
Right meow. So let's jump into the news. We have some follow-up stories, some interesting stories, and some apparently sexually charged stories. So let's not wait a second further. Let's talk about these right now.
Well, it is episode 269.
It's fitting. Huh? That was a joke. This week's News from the Tubes on F5 Live is proudly powered by Riff Tracks.
Laugh at your favorite movies. I do. And so do these guys. They used to do Mystery Science Theater 3000, and they are back making fun of real movies as well as C movies on Sci-Fi.
C-, dude.
There is a particular episode that is my favorite, and I have it. Everything from classic Star Treks to modern Star Trek. In fact, Inception, Thor, 300. Just about any movie you can think of, these guys have made fun of, and they've made terrible movies watchable, and they've made great movies that weren't supposed to be funny.
You know, that's the best part.
It is. It's worth the $4. You can sync it up with your DVD copy of the movie or your Netflix stream and laugh and laugh and laugh. And they do live events from time to time. And August 16th, it's Thursday, August 16th. Monos, the Hands of Fate, will be live nationwide, or at least live on 2 coasts and an hour tape delay on 2.
Better than the Olympics.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's live in London and then tape delay to here.
Yeah.
So there you go. Their live events are always even funnier because
Than us.
they don't care. They don't have to worry about their audience or anything. They just go for it.
I love it.
They're ridiculous.
And you should love it too.
Yeah, you should go. It'll be fun. If it weren't for the fact that they purposely team them up against our events, we would be there.
You can go to both.
You can.
Do it for us.
That sounds like a plan.
By going to f5live.tv, click in the link.
In the center.
Get your live rift on.
Ooh,
What?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Get your live rift on. You know what I like? Not giving out my Facebook password to Facebook, spammers, and my employers. You know, that's the trifecta of things you shouldn't give out your Facebook password to.
It's pretty difficult to not give your Facebook password to Facebook.
Facebook will never ask you for your password.
Neither will MSN Messenger.
Fair.
Say it all the time.
And I won't. So that's good.
He might. Because he doesn't live in Illinois or Massachusetts.
Matt.
I think it's Massachusetts. Illinois has become the second state to ban social snooping from employers and prospective employers. Hooray!
You know, it's a good thing. Avram was the first to break the story on our show.
Yes.
About employers asking for your Facebook password, to which I replied, it makes sense. They should also be allowed to put webcams in your house.
Indeed.
It all fits.
So long as you can charge for access to the webcams.
They only get a 5 gig limit.
For people other than the employer. The employer pays for it
enough,
and can put it in, but you can charge other people to watch you.
You know?
Eating Cheerios at the breakfast table, I suppose.
Is that code for something?
Yes.
All right.
It's code for episode 269.
So this is great because a webcam in your house sounds crazy, as does asking for your Facebook password just to take a look at stuff. Now, granted, you can't do it. Just don't post things that are public, and you'll be fine.
Right.
But this is a fantastic step in the right direction. It's about time that more states are getting on board ahead of the government deciding federally
Right.
what to do.
There's
Illinois said, I'm going to just do it.
There's a law that kind of came and went and came again in the federal. We'll see how that goes. But for now, we've got 2 states that are ahead of the federal curve and have banned it. So far, it seems everybody is excited about it. What's really interesting about this is the biggest culprit is the government.
Yeah, pretty much.
And they have banned themselves from doing it. I guess it was just too big of a temptation. So put a law in place, not that the government has to follow its own laws.
Definitely not.
But
now, here's... Go ahead.
It's a good move.
It is. Now, here's the question for you. We have a contractor we work very closely with.
Yes.
The hiring process over there.
Yes.
Since you guys do a lot... They do a lot more hiring than we do here. It's us. Hey. And you got Carl and Alante. And, it all works out. But over there, they just brought on like 4 people.
Yes.
Did you ask for a Facebook password?
No.
Did you look on Facebook to check them out?
Yes.
You did?
I did.
Totally okay. Because it's public.
Yes, it is.
Or whatever is listed as public.
Yes.
How'd that go for you? Did it give you a different view on the person that changed your mind?
Honest to God, the only thing I was looking for when I was doing it was to see if on their Facebook they were talking about software. That's all I was looking for, because our number one thing that we look for is, do you do side projects? Like, the theory is programmers program.
Right.
So, by that logic, you do side projects when you're not at work. So, we were looking for side projects, and we would get extra excited about somebody if we saw photos of whiteboards
Yeah.
on their
I
Facebook,
gotcha.
that type of thing, which we did for one of the prospects, which was pretty great. We saw programming books all laid out on his bed and then a picture of his whiteboard. We're like, this is the guy.
Now, if you popped onto LinkedIn and saw that they were making, I don't know, terroristic threats to programmers nationwide, you probably would have looked the other way.
Yeah, that's probably a problem.
And that would have flagged it too, but you don't necessarily have to ask for the password for that.
Right.
You can just kind of see that.
Right. So if you're going to say something stupid in Illinois, do it private.
Or anywhere, for that matter. I mean, I say stupid stuff in public. I get in trouble for it, but that's why they give me this microphone. It's a fantastic tool.
It's why they give me the ability to edit it out later.
That helps. That helps a lot.
Post edit.
This is a great thing. I am certainly excited about it. Granted, like I said, you can still spot check all the different social networks.
And there's nothing that can be done about that.
That's public domain.
Right.
That's all well and good. But now there's no invasion of privacy. And honestly, it is an invasion of privacy. It's like asking to read your journal.
Right.
It's the same thing. So this is good. I mean, it's nice to see 2 of the 50 states. I'd like to see 49 of the 50. Utah's a whole different thing. I can't even.
Isn't real, so.
Wyoming isn't real.
Well, Montana is 6 people, and they're all related more than one way.
There's more lions than people. It's fine.
That's probably not here.
Not lions?
Not a whole lot of lions.
Mountain
here.
lions.
Oh, okay. I'll buy that.
Don't buy a mountain lion. I don't think you can.
Why not? I want a mountain lion.
It's the same reason I can't buy a penguin, so I just have lots of shirts with them on it.
So speaking of the Olympics, there's a new show coming to NBC that's going to have a penguin in it.
Yeah. Yeah, there is.
That's pretty exciting.
I am excited. And a monkey.
Yes.
It all works out.
And a guy with no social skills. It's a show starring Nick.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Except I'm not making $8 million an episode. It sucks.
We're running an animal hospital.
So we do ads like this. This week's Nifty Gifties on F5 Live. Hey, they are nifty.
They're nifty gifties.
Proudly powered by SMS Audio. Look, if you want to listen to me, and who doesn't want to listen to me, you need to listen to me on really good headphones. That's why this guy doesn't have a pair, but get yourself one. The Sync by 50 Silver Obsidians by SMS Audio. Listen, sexiness, affordability, and audiophile quality sound all wrapped into one $399 cute little bundle.
Wireless. Audiophile quality in wireless.
Lossless 24-bit audio technology right to your ear holes. Over the ears and amazing. Bring your music with you anywhere. Yes, and ditch the wires with Sync by 50. Make sure you go to f5live.tv and click the link
in the center.
Get your wireless and get 3 others because you can hook up your adapter, the wireless adapter, to 4 headsets at the same time. Listen across the board. Share it with your friends.
That'd be great for when we go do comedy shows and stuff, so we don't have to each have a broadcaster.
Right.
It's so much better.
I'm with you. So do that now. SMS audio. The best radio on radio in your ears.
Okay. I was like, nope, that's not this promo, buddy.
In your ears. Got to help each other out. You can listen to our later sponsor on these.
Yes.
It all works out.
Or you can probably play games from our next sponsor.
Yeah, it all works. See, it all makes
these.
sense.
It's pretty wonderful.
All of our products just fit together.
It's great. And then there's Apple, who doesn't fit together with anybody.
Then there's Mauve.
Yeah, longest opening ever. So we know it's been coming. The big Apple Samsung face-off, mutual patent infringement suits culminating in one big trial. The judge said a couple of weeks ago that hundreds of thousands of documents were going to have to be made public if they wanted this case to go forward.
It meant some good stuff was going to happen out of that.
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't wait.
It has started. And I would say the thing I didn't expect to be talking about is a purple building and cars.
Yeah, definitely not. But the purple building...
From either of these companies, actually.
Mm-hmm. The purple building was a real thing.
Yes. The purple building was the top secret house for the Project Purple, which started its life as the iPad and became the iPhone, as Apple decided that it would make more sense to start with a phone than with a tablet. It's pretty funny. The iPad, which just came out a couple years ago now, right, started its life in 2003 as an alternative to expensive notebooks.
Indeed.
And never made it out.
Alternative to the MacBook.
Instead, we ended up with the iPhone, which is kind of the center of the patent infringement case. Yeah. It's all pretty interesting. But the purple building and Project Purple, the reason that they had that was because the project was so top secret, people inside the company weren't allowed to know about it. And people who were interviewing for jobs in the department weren't allowed to know what they were interviewing for. The only thing they were told was they were going to have to give up their nights and weekends for a couple years.
They were forced to live in this college town.
Kind of.
It was weird.
It was set up like a dorm, so during those times when you really couldn't leave, at least you'd have somewhere to sleep.
Right.
There was a sign on the door that just said Fight Club.
First rule about Fight Club.
You don't talk about it. So that's the reason the sign was on the door, which is pretty funny. So the whole thing comes down to, did Samsung steal from Apple and did Apple steal from Samsung? So Scott Forstall, who is the head of the iOS team for Apple, said that he never directed anybody to go and steal anything from Samsung. They wanted to build something great, and so they had no reason to look anywhere else.
Come on, guys.
So, okay. So here's the thing with that. Number one, that's saying that nobody else had ever built anything great, which is insulting at the very least. Secondly, is the fact that the original iPhone looked suspiciously like the PPC 6800.
Oh, didn't it?
Sans the keyboard.
Goodness.
So that was HTC. And the operating system, if you go back and look at some of the incredibly early Sony MP3 players, the operating system looked exactly like what iOS looks like today.
It really did.
And even the device was very, very similar in design. So maybe they're right when they say they didn't steal anything from Samsung, but the operating system also is suspiciously identical to Windows 3.0. So that being said, they seem to have stolen from everybody except the people that they're in court with, which is
right. But then they made a mention, one of the emails got released.
Yes.
And we saw something very interesting.
Yes.
That completely contradicts anything Mr. Jobs, the late great Jobs, has said before.
Has ever said about anything. So a couple of interesting non-products have come out of the trial so far. The first of which is, after the iPod's success, Apple decided maybe it could have some success as not a computer company, which is good because they've had no success as a computer company. Even today, 4% of the market. Linux has a bigger hold.
But they just work.
Indeed, for the 4% of people that have them.
Oh, wait, but there's new malware that
makes them not just work.
Yeah.
So anyway,
there's that.
So how do we do things that aren't computers? So employees made all kinds of suggestions. My favorite was a car, an Apple-branded car.
What would it look like?
I don't know. It would be white.
It would take 3 years to come out because they would pick the wrong shade of white 5 times.
Like Henry Ford said, you can have any color you want so long as the color you want is black.
It's a collection of all the colors. It all works out.
Indeed. My guess is that it would be more expensive than a Maserati.
It would have to be, right?
And it would only come in the 2 colors.
And have less features.
And the steering wheel would be in the center.
It would just work.
Indeed.
Except when it didn't.
For the 4% of people that would have them.
And you'd have to take it into the Genius Bar to get the battery replaced.
You'd drive it up to the 2nd floor of International Mall.
It would be small enough, too.
Oh.
And nano-sized.
It's a golf cart. The other thing is, apparently, one of the guys, Eddie Q, who is the head of iTunes, pitched a 7-inch iPad over and over and over, and felt that the last time he pitched it, Jobs was receptive to it, which is interesting. One of two things. One, well, before that, Jobs has said many, many times the 7-inch tablet is a form factor that doesn't hold water. It's not gonna stick around. The 10-inch is the right size.
Two sides to that, I guess, right?
So there's two possibilities there. One, he could have been dead serious, and will be pissed wherever he is when they inevitably launch it in October.
Indeed.
Or this was just another case of exactly what Jobs has done a dozen times before. He insulted the very Sony MP3 player that the operating system is an almost direct ripoff of, and then launched the iPod. He insulted netbooks and then launched the MacBook Air, which I know isn't a netbook. Yeah, it is. Doesn't have a disk drive, and it's useless.
Netbook.
It's a netbook. He had done it with ebook readers. He said there was nothing sellable about any kind of really small portable computing platform, and then launched the iPad. So it could be that. Oh, there's no such thing as a 7-inch, and then tomorrow it comes out. It wouldn't be the first time he had done it. So he might be all in for this October 7-inch. And I'm just saying October. I don't know.
It's possible. Coming in from the chat room from Avram, f5live.tv/join us. He says about the car, because,
Yes, I saw that he mentioned it.
If you got into a crash because of a brake problem or the engine caught on fire, Tim Cook would hold a press conference and say, you're driving it wrong.
Yup.
Oh, my goodness.
Or they could just replay the iPhone press conference where they blame Nokia for the...
Right.
What?
They blame BMW for the Apple car.
Yeah.
They would call it a nutritious car, just number one. Number two, it wouldn't come with a bumper at first.
It'd be the iDrive.
There you go. Wow. Yes, it would be. It wouldn't come with bumpers. You have to get them after, because you'd be driving it wrong.
And they would be 25% of the cost of the car.
Well, yeah. But you get a voucher, the redemption. It's free.
Well, yeah, after mail-in rebate. Wonderful.
Would the iDrive only be available on iDrive in Orlando? Is that a valid question?
So the reason...
He said turn signals wouldn't come until version 2. But people would say it's an innovation.
Why is he not on right now?
What are we doing? Let's just crank this thing up. We're going to go right now. Like I said, we're blowing past 1 minute every morning. Go. Oh, wait, I got to do this.
Nope, you go.
I do this. Then I do this. And then you do this.
Because I want him to say these things on the air and not us repeat them. It's that time for the Pilch Point with Avram Pilch. Proudly powered by the Tech Podcast Network. Avram, are you there?
Yes!
Yes,
Excellent.
Avram.
So say these things out loud.
Yes, say what is on your mind, good sir.
Fine.
Uh-oh.
He just quacked.
Yeah, he did just quack. You there, Avram?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, there we are.
I feel like I've been hit with an Apple car.
I feel you've been hit with an apple. That's funny.
So my thought was, since the steering wheel would be in the middle, that would be the reason you'd get into the accident.
Right.
And then they would blame BMW and everybody else for having always put the steering wheel in one seat or the other and tell you were driving it wrong. Right?
Well, no, I would blame the government for making roads that have right and left lanes.
Oh, my goodness. That gives new definition to passenger driver.
Oh. Yes, it does.
Avram, you're breaking up on our side. Let's see if you can give them your intro and see if this rectifies itself.
Okay, I am the online editorial director of the Still in Business Laptop Magazine. You can follow me on Twitter at @GeekInChief. Read all my columns at laptopmag.com/geeksgeek. And read all of our news at laptopmag.com. How did that sound?
It sounds good. I mean, after you talk for a while, it's the weirdest thing. It happens every show. I usually bring your mute up early so I can just get it keyed in. And then after a while, it just seems to work. I don't know why. But 4 minutes in, now we're good. Avram, welcome back. We have a lot to talk about this week other than the eye stuff. If you think of more things, by the way, just blurt them out as we talk about this here. You wrote an article. You wrote a list. You're infamous for your lists. And you wrote one...
Infamous indeed.
Yes. To the point where you caught national attention and were getting yelled at for one of your lists that you wrote.
Best thing ever.
Shortly or the day that your wonderful son was born. It was 15 things that your son wouldn't see in his lifetime when he gets older.
Correct. Old enough to recognize them without me kind of putting them in his crib.
Right. and taking a picture. Yeah.
Taking pictures.
Now, you caught flack for the fax machine. And
Somebody thinks that there's still going to be fax in 15 years or 20 years.
Well, the IRS will still be around, so...
Indeed.
So it's quite possible.
So this week's article is 15 things that he will have when he gets old enough to recognize them without having you to put them in his twin bed with the Spider-Man blanket and take a picture.
Correct. And not just things that he will have in the future, but things that we have now that will still be in use in the future, because obviously the more things change, the more they stay the same. I know when I was a kid, I thought that by the time I was this age and as an adult, I'd be driving a flying car and have a condo on the moon and a robot butler. But you see how all that turned out. So there's actually a lot of things that have stayed pretty stagnant in technology over periods of decades, and I think that there's a number of things that are around today that he'll still be using some form of when he's in college.
To be fair, Avram, they are going to drop a car on Mars this morning.
It's true. It's true.
That is true, but I still haven't gotten my condo there.
I know.
So that still seems kind of far away. I think
a 3-year
that,
trip.
though, when you look at it, there's a lot of things that we use in computing that actually have been around a long time. I mean, you look at, for example, the PC, the x86 platform that Intel pioneered in the early 80s. We're still using that same instruction set now over 30 years after the original IBM PC. And it's continuing to thrive. I think there's a very good chance that in 20 years, when my son is still in college, when my son is entering college or in his sophomore year or whatever, hopefully, he's going to be using something that is based on an x86 processor. You know, maybe it'll be the 1086 or something. Maybe it'll be the Intel 11th generation Core series processor or something like that. But there's a very good chance that that standard, which has already had about 30 years of life, is going to continue. And there are several other standards like this where you see something in technology and it doesn't change over the course of years. It just kind of matures. For example, I really believe that my son will be using a QWERTY-style keyboard when he's in college. If you look at it, the QWERTY standard of keyboard layout has been around since the 1870s on typewriters, and we're still using it today. Yes, if you look at phones and you look at tablets, people are using a virtual version of it. But I think that that layout, the fact that people type on keyboards rather than doing voice command or gesture control, which are technologies that are advancing but aren't as good for writing and composing your work as a keyboard, I think that until we get absolute brain control and the ability to sort of type by thinking letters, I think that we're going to continue to use QWERTY keyboards for a long time to come.
Now, Avram, some of these things, unlike your previous article, where some of the things that were listed were like, why don't they go away? They need to be gone, I don't know, 40 years ago, and they're still around. These are things that are just, kind of a staple of society and technology and may not necessarily be a bad thing, like the QWERTY keyboard, like x86. Does the list stay that way for you, or do you have some things that are like, it's still going to be around, but we don't want it to, like the fax machine?
I would say so. For example, lithium-ion batteries. My understanding is that we're really far away from having good fuel cell style batteries or something that's better than lithium-ion for our gadgets. The capacity of lithium-ion batteries does grow a tiny bit every year, but clearly we could have something better. But there seems to be a lot of stagnation in this space, and so I wish that there would be a better battery standard, because as you see, we're using pretty similar batteries the last several years, and the batteries themselves are not keeping pace with the demand for power. So you have all of these ultrabooks that aren't getting nearly enough battery life, that are getting 4 and 5 and barely 6 hours of endurance because they're not using better quality batteries. And we're not able to fit the amount of capacity into the small space that we want. So unfortunately, that's one where I think you're not going to see a lot of advancement, and it is a shame. I also think that one thing that I'm kind of pondering for this list that's not so tech related is I think that if you look at where it's going with automobiles, we're still not anywhere near ready to have the infrastructure for everybody to drive an electric car and get, ridiculous mileage off of that. I think my son will probably still be driving a mostly gasoline-powered car, and that's a shame considering where oil supply is going. Also, if you look at something like, also on my list are JPEG files. JPEGs and GIFs just won't die. I mean, we've had them around since GIFs probably the late 80s, JPEGs early 90s. But even as the internet gets more and more advanced, I really don't see a lot of people switching to PNGs or other image formats. And in a way, that's a shame, because as bandwidth increases, you should have more lossless technologies, lossless formats. Why shouldn't we all be downloading RAW files instead of JPEGs? But I don't think that's going to happen in the next 20 years. There's bandwidth caps. Even as things get faster, people will still want to conserve. So I think that while you may see new codecs in it, the JPEG is probably here to stay as well. And that's another thing where I really think we could do better.
Definitely. It's the same thing when you get into the conversation we saw on your Facebook wall with MP3s. I'm more and more downloading FLAC, lossless audio, on anything that can support it, but then you run into the situation where your device doesn't support it. I think because of that and the unwillingness for manufacturers that have paid so much into the licensing, that FLAC might not actually make it in. MP3 will stay.
Come on, Nick. An hour of audio should only be about 20 meg.
I'm sorry. It should be. I apologize. That is the right answer. But no, it should be moving to FLAC, but I don't think it will because of people like that who think, 64 kilobits per second AM quality music is good.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I think when you look at it, the compressed formats are here to stay. And even if somebody comes up with a better compressed format, they're probably going to have to find a way of sort of fitting the codec into MP3 or JPEG, because those things are so ingrained now in our technology that if you're the first person to not use them, you may have problems. I remember back in the day, maybe 10, 12 years ago, there were all these talks about other file formats that people were going to use online a lot, like VRML or other types of video that weren't a standard, like HTML5 or Flash later becoming a standard. And every time you ask somebody to either download a plugin or you have to build in support into the browser, and not everyone's browser supports it, I think that you get kind of stratified, and standards stay standards for a reason. People are used to them. So if you build on a standard, like, for example, I think Wi-Fi is going to be with us for a long time, but it's not going to be 802.11n 20 years from now. It's going to be whatever comes after 802.11ac, which is the next one. It's going to be some later standard than that, but
PDQ.
Something that is built on the IEEE 802.11 standard will be there, because it's easier to build on an existing standard like a USB or an 802.11 than to try and create a new one.
I got one for you, Avram, something that's still going to be around, even though it shouldn't be. And this is the audio and me. I'll still be here. Yes.
I was going to say Sony.
Yeah, Sony might or might not. We'll talk about that in the weekly Upstream. But something near and dear to my heart, analog cables will still be here, even though life should be digital and lossless and no hum and no interference. The audio patch cables that you get feedback for at that $100 concert you paid for will still be around.
Yes, they will.
And that's kind of unfortunate for the same reasons you talked about. Technology has grown so fast, but no one's willing to be the first to move with it, which is why we don't see USB 3.0 on audio devices that are used to stream shows like this.
You know what I'm wondering about? I'm curious your opinion. Do you think, in terms of analog, that we're going to continue to see the famous 3.5 millimeter jack everywhere?
I say maybe to that. I feel like it might even get down to 2.5 millimeter size with the way phones are going.
332nd seemed to fail itself, and everything went back to 1/8 inch.
To 1/8 inch, yeah. But the way phones are going, I'm looking at my phone in front of me right now, and there is a not an indent. What do I want to call it? An outward dent.
That'll work.
A non-dent, an outward protrusion from my phone just to fit the headphone cable. Like, that's a pain in the butt. Phones are going to get thinner than this.
Yes, they are.
We know that.
Yeah, and that'll mean less battery. Yeah,
it'll mean less battery, yeah, and especially if you can't replace it. But it will also mean that the size of the phone is dictated from the ports you have, which is kind of where micro USB invented itself. The USB is too big.
It's exactly what Toshiba was talking about at CES,
right,
with their tablet, that they were afraid they wouldn't be able to do anything more with it because the ports were in the way.
It can only get so small, and that's kind of where I think, 3.5 millimeter, 1/8 inch might stay around, but maybe it moves to 2.5, or maybe finally it just goes digital. You can send audio through USB. It's been done. Send it through micro.
You know what's interesting, actually? I don't know if you guys know this, but Jelly Bean, the newest version of Android 4.1, supports sending audio through the micro USB port on your device.
My mixer does. Everything else should. I mean, honestly, think about it for a second. Everything ends up going back into your computer or to your cloud or to your device or something.
To the cloud.
Yeah, and Bluetooth doesn't always work. The wireless doesn't always work. If you have to have a wire, have a micro USB mini speaker hooked up to your phone, and we'll call it a day. I'm good with all of that. So write that one down. There's one for you. Analog cables will probably still be around because nobody's as smart as us, Avram. And no one wants to go digital.
I'm just talking to you on a USB audio device right now.
See what I'm saying?
And that's how I like it. But you're absolutely right. I think maybe with the phones you'll see the unfortunate trend of trying to get rid of that jack entirely just to save space. So we might see some phones where your only option is to attach a Bluetooth headset, which would be really annoying because Bluetooth is still really annoying even at version 4.0. But you're right. There's just a lot of things out there that are kind of annoying that are going to stick around. But there are also things that are good. Like we said, I think some people believe that the cloud is going to replace everything. And while cloud storage is important, 20 years from now, my son will still have some form of local storage, some kind of solid state storage on his computer, probably maybe even an external backup drive. There's just a need to have your own data somewhere. There's just a need to have a keyboard. There's just a need to have something that's a clamshell form factor like a notebook. So I think all of those things are things which have been tried and true and will still be around, whereas there are others where we're kind of scratching our heads, why hasn't technology advanced? Where's my flying car?
Where is my flying car, and where's my TV that has a built-in webcam? Like, standalone webcams will still be here, and it's very unfortunate. They will still be around for the TSA to steal, and it's unfortunate, and it shouldn't happen. And the Samsung Smart TV, the one you can yell at it and tell it to do things, doesn't have like a Skype your mom feature. Huh? You still have to.
That's really bizarre because when you look at the history of home video conferencing solutions, we still don't have a good solution for the living room, right? You guys may remember when Cisco last year, what was it called, the UMI? A couple of years ago, they put out the home conferencing solution, the UMI, which was going to be $25 a month and $500 for the unit just to put a camera on top of your TV. And for some reason, no one has figured out exactly what you said. Why can't they put the conferencing into the TV?
It's one of the predictions I walked away out of CES with from Microsoft this year, and I'll say it again: Microsoft TV is not too far away. Granted, it'll be made by Samsung, but it'll be the connectivity in a TV, and it will just work, and the Xbox will just be part of it. I don't know how it'll work, but that's
they'll call it the Connect Television,
Connect TV.
Well, it's something whose time has come, because if you look at someone like my mother, who's really, computer savvy, but she's uncomfortable doing things like conducting calls on a computer, it's really the idea of making a call on Skype on her notebook sort of seems very foreign to her. But if I put it onto her TV and she could do it with her remote control, she would do it tomorrow.
She would be all over it, no problems at all, because I've proven that theory with my parents, and when we were Skyping our family in New Jersey, I hooked up the Connect in the living room, and I loaded it up, fired up Windows Messenger, and they were like, "You can do this on your TV?" I'm like, "Yeah, no problem." They're like, "This is amazing. How do you?" I'm like, "Just tell it what to do." And they were like, "Xbox Connect," and then bam, it was on. She was like, "This is great." Like, exactly. And you were 100% right, Avram. If you make things more user-friendly for the living room, life will be easier for everybody, but yet we will still be stuck in the 2000 ages.
I guess the best way to sum this up is I hope that flying car isn't made by Apple.
Yes, I think you're right.
Because the first version of it won't land. But then later, when they come up with a version that lands, they will say that they do landing just like copy and paste better than anybody else.
You know, the first version of theirs won't land.
Or picture messaging.
BMW's will. And then 4 versions later, theirs will land and be like, look, we can land.
Innovation at its best.
But they've been doing it for a while. They've been doing it wrong.
They're doing it with the steering wheel. Morons.
No question about it.
Avram, we hope you use some of our ideas, and we can't wait to see your article go up. Your lists are amazing. Let people know where they can get them.
So you can read all of my columns at laptopmag.com/geeksgeek. Follow me on Twitter at geekandchief, and read all the latest mobile technology news at laptopmag.com.
Avram, thanks, buddy. We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Always a pleasure.
Always fun.
So if you'd like to pitch that flying car that Avram so badly wants, you're going to need production services to do so. We can provide those services for you. Whether it be at home, work, Dairy Queen, I don't know, I think we added that one in there at one point. Wherever you need production services, conventions, we're going to be doing that 2 weeks or so. Plug Hits Productions can help you out. For all the information, you can email us at contact@plughits.com. And now for the stories that didn't quite make the show, Nick with this week's Weekly Upstream.
Welcome.
Plug Hits Live presents the Upstream.
Thanks, Scott. Hey guys, this is Nick, and I'm here keeping you plugged into the top stories for the week of August 5th, 2012. This is your weekly Upstream. After Sony's revival plan conference, we were certain the company could and would right the ship. However, big expenses like Gaikai and the Sony Ericsson merger hit Sony hard this quarter as they posted their numbers for the beginning of their fiscal year. In all categories, numbers were down, and even revenue was almost flat in comparison to last year. Overall, Sony posted a loss of over $300 million, where last year at this time they only lost $192 million. As the company continues to bleed money and lose in not only their gaming division, but in mobile and software markets, one can only wonder if Sony can sustain through the holiday season. We'd like to see them around for the next few big gaming and tech conventions. The gold medalist in the men's individual all-around gymnastics competition in London, Kohei Uchimura, works for Konami. All is now right with the world as an Olympic gold winner works for a video game company. Uchimura, however, is not alone. He is actually one of 3 Konami employees to be competing in London, representing their home country of Japan. Konami Sports and Life Company, the division of Konami that Uchimura works for, aims at providing you an enjoyable and valuable time with your daily life through health and fitness. It would appear that having a gold medalist working for the division, they will be closer to be able to be accomplishing that lofty goal. So congratulations, Konami. Your E3 conference may have been tape delayed like the Olympics you are competing in, but the gold medal makes the gamer in us feel less fat. And that's a feeling we can DVR to play over and over again. The Hulk isn't the only terrible live-action nerd movie to be getting a second shot at life. John M. Chu, the director of the Beebs documentary, is in talks to helm the second try at a Masters of the Universe film. He-Man's first movie in the late 80s was a massive failure, but that was long before the age of big action toy and comic book adaptations. Chu is currently heading up the almost 1-year delayed G.I. Joe Retaliation film, and while nobody has seen the film yet, somebody is confident in his ability to rival Michael Bay's Transformers action figure adaptations. Amazon securing the once mad music labels in a wondrous cloud-based musical paradise. We'll talk about that more in this week's DRM Not Included. So for all these stories and more, keep yourself plugged into f5live.tv all week long, or click that RSS button to follow the news as it happens on your phone, computer, or clamshell notebook. I'm Nick, and we'll be back next week with more of the top stories from across the world. This has been your Weekly Upstream.
Transfer complete. Goodbye.
This week's Extra Life section on F5 Live is proudly powered by the Microsoft Store. Gaming has been in its finest form as of late, and what's better than one of the most popular releases that we're most excited about, Halo 4. Master Chief is back, the Reclaimer experience begins, and experience the dawn of an epic new Halo adventure, solo or split screen, with up to 3 friends. You know, the Halo 4 limited edition console, Scott, might be the first thing Halo I ever buy. Have you seen this thing?
I have. It's incredible.
It looks amazing. Same thing as the Star Wars one. Exclusive on and off and eject sound effects. 2 customized controllers. The standard edition of the Halo 4 game. And exclusive downloadable Halo 4 content. So, get yours now. Whether you're a student, business, or developer.
Developer.
Get your Xbox fix now at the Microsoft Store by going to f5live.tv and clicking the link.
In the center.
X marks the spot. xlive.tv. I don't know what I was going to say.
I don't know either.
Doesn't much matter. Play Halo. That's all that matters. I love that we left our green room TV on.
Yep.
And then I can hear it.
Yep. Because our pause on the TV has failed.
Lapsed an hour and it plays. That's okay. That's okay. Just don't listen to it.
7-3. That's where we left off.
That's where we left off. You need to run in there and turn that TV off after the show is over here. So,
and repause it.
Let's talk about this for a minute. I saw an ad the other day, and today actually. It said, Sims got you down? Play the better game, the Vil.
Oh, Zynga.
That was just like the nail in the coffin for them. We talked about this last week. Zynga numbers, their numbers suck.
Just going right for it, huh?
Well, you know, they're down half of their users of 15 million.
Now, to be fair, that's from a single title.
Fair.
That's just one of their titles.
One of their titles went down to
half.
7 million
Yes.
from 15.
Yes.
That sucks.
Not good.
Their stock went down 40%.
Indeed it did.
That's not one title. That's the title of a company that owns all the games.
Indeed.
And now they're in the middle of a
lawsuit?
Insider trading issue.
Oh, yes, there's that too. Insider trading.
And now there's a lawsuit. EA did not turn a blind eye to that. If you've looked at the ad, it looks just like The Sims Social. Yet it's not. The Vil, we talked about it last week, is going to be their saving grace. But will it? Well,
probably not.
It might not be around for till next week. Who knows?
Who knows?
EA
thinks they know.
They've seen it. They did not take very long to notice the game is the same. Mm-hmm. The avatars are the same.
Yes.
The style is the same.
Okay, so to put it into the 8 skin color choices that you have are color picked right out of The Sims Social.
Oh, you didn't see the energy icon for the Vil that looks exactly like the one from SimCity Social?
Nice.
Identical.
The first one or the second one?
SimCity Social.
Yes, the first one or the second one?
Second one? There was a second SimCity Social?
No. The first icon or the second icon.
Second icon. I got you. Second
went
icon.
Through and
the current one.
Which is impressive because it's only been out a week.
Yes, the current one looks just like it. It's amazing. They're also suing. So they sued them, period.
No kidding.
You've copied us. You directly copied features and other important aspects of the game. Zynga lately has kind of shrugged off all lawsuits. Well, they're not going to turn the other cheek to EA here. It's just not going to happen. Dismal sales numbers, and it's EA.
Right.
You have to do something.
Right.
You're going to either fight it or pay the fines. Everything about the Vil looks simmy. Everything feels simmy. It looks simmy. All the way down to the 8 levels of player types. You have villain and athlete. Villain to athlete for the Vil. You have scoundrel to jock for the Sims. Same thing.
Which is kind of what The Sims has always had, is those things. So they've ripped off the whole franchise at this point, not just the social version.
And you made mention before the show, they've even taken a page out of the Sims book.
Right.
Everything Sims is Sims.
Right. You've got Sim City, Sim Tower, Sim Farm. So when you focus in on the people specifically, it became The Sims. With Zynga, you've got Farmville, Cityville, Castleville. And you focus in on the people, and it becomes The Ville.
The Ville sounds ghetto.
Yes, it
The Ville
does.
sounds like some of their restaurants only take EBT.
Only take? Wow. They don't take cash?
No. Cash will still be around in 15 years. EBT won't.
Fair enough.
We'll turn into China and send off the poor people. That's what's going to happen. I got
Or
this.
North Korea and put the Olympic losers into labor camps.
There you go. Are they doing that? Oh my God.
Yep.
So everybody from soccer to archery that we beat from North Korea are now in labor camps?
Going to be.
I like to know
what I hear.
I feel okay knowing that our country is responsible for that.
The people aren't the problem. Great leader is the problem. But, you know, he's starred in more blockbuster films than any other actor ever.
Indeed. So the Ville.
11 holes in one in his first time ever playing golf. He's a prodigy.
You got to love that.
I believe he's dead now, isn't he?
I think so. I don't know. So will the Ville be dead by next week? Maybe.
Maybe.
EA's sent him a cease and desist letter.
They don't tend to back off on this type of thing, so...
I have a theory. EA's been doing pretty well lately. They kind of... They're flat again. What?
Go ahead. I think I just figured out what your theory is.
EA's buying Zynga.
Yes.
Yeah. Because the lawsuit's going to cost them more than it is to buy them, especially 40% down. How much stock do they have? Not very much.
Whole lot easier than continuing to build these franchise social games themselves.
Because regardless of the game, the developers are actually pretty good.
Developers?
Developers. They're pretty good.
They are?
We're not taking anything away from the developer.
No,
just the
absolutely not.
company.
Yes.
The company buys developers because that's what good companies do. Good companies that know what they're doing to find the talent, not know what they're doing to run a business.
It's what they've been doing lately.
They've been buying up developers who are great.
Yes.
Guys from OMG Pop, regardless of the name, are pretty crafty guys. Pretty crafty group of people.
They've come up with one great idea.
And it's worked. So...
And then lost half of its users.
That's because it got bought by Zynga.
Well, there's that.
The load time went from like 30 seconds to a minute. It was ridiculous.
Yucks.
For me, I stopped using it because of it. So maybe EA buys them.
They should get on an Amazon cloud server. Oh, no, wait. Those failed.
Unless those go down. Hey, you mentioned Amazon. Let's talk about them now.
Okay. It would be very interesting for them to buy them.
It would be. I'd be all over that. Or Amazon to buy them. And I say that because this week's DRM not included on F5 Live is proudly powered by Sirius XM satellite radio.
Summertime and listening is easy. Save $20 to $80 on radios for your summer road trip, backyard barbecue, or jogs through the park. Plus, free shipping on orders of $49.99 or more. And I got a great way for you to get to $49.99 with the outlet.
You know, Scott, you mentioned outside activities. Block parties are a big thing. It's still summertime. You got 1 month till Labor Day. Party hard and do it in style with great music. The XM Express RCI with vehicle kit and portable speaker. $300 down to $100. And all it is, the customer got outsmarted, sent it back, and you get to take advantage of the savings. So do it now. There's no reason to wait. No better time than now. The listening is easy, and you can listen to things a lot easier if you have a speaker dock. So get yours at f5live.tv. Click the link
In the center.
to get the best radio on radio.
Except for us.
Indeed. Can't get us on there.
Indeed. Well, if you've got the XMP3 portable...
You can put our show on there.
Indeed.
And listen to it on the speaker dock. Just do that, all that stuff. That's good stuff.
Awesomeness. And save 65% doing it.
Now,
So,
Amazon.
yes.
Video, instant video, Prime Video.
Video.
They change the name every
Series 7.
.com. Cloud player for music. Free 2-day shipping. They might as well buy a social game company.
Sure, why
It's the only
not?
thing that's left.
It is.
But they can't do that before
Tablets.
there you go.
Ebook readers.
It's all
phones.
They're missing-
If you believe the rumors.
They're missing
Which I do.
they're missing a coffee shop and a social media company or a social game company and a social media website.
Well, if Starbucks keeps failing in the way it is,
Amazon buys
might be
Starbucks?
able to get them.
Breaking news: Amazon buys Zynga and Starbucks
This
tomorrow.
week.
I said tomorrow. You said this week. You're giving them 7 days.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Well, they gotta shore up the investment funds to be able to get both of them in the same way.
And they just spent a bunch of money on
Geico.
music labels.
Oh no,
Not Geico. That's saving a bunch of money. You've been naming Dairy Queen and Geico now. We got 2 new sponsors. That's good.
I said they spent a lot of money on Geico. I don't know that that's something that they'd want us to say.
Send the checks to PayPal at pluckits.com. So, 4 major music labels were pissed at Amazon for the cloud music player because they didn't get permission.
Oh, oops.
It was so much better than Google Music, though. So much better than iTunes. You could pick any music you wanted, load it up, and play it anywhere.
Yay!
It's great. Yeah, they can't do that for much longer. So they've shored up deals with the 4 major music labels. You have Vivendi SA's Universal Music Group, Sony Music, EMI, and Warner are all now available legally through Amazon Cloud Player. Before they weren't. You couldn't even get their songs. The playlist sucked.
Yay for legal music.
Legal music's always a good thing. So now you can hook them up, listen to all your music in one place. The Kindle Fire, Android devices, and iPhones can all use it. That's pretty good.
It's even more impressive that Apple approved the app.
Because they denied the previous Amazon one.
Right.
And denied the Nokia version of it.
Oh, silliness.
But then they had to set the standard because they lost that in court, remember? That they then had to accept these things.
Yes.
So, there's a catch, obviously. It's not free anymore.
Well, of course not. Well, it's free a little bit.
It is. 250 songs you can load up, and you can play all of Amazon purchased music
Okay.
as much as you want to any device. Unlimited devices you want. Which is still pretty great.
That's not bad.
250 songs get you through. It's okay.
A drive.
Yeah. But if you want the paid edition, $25 a year. Not a month, not $9. $25 a year gives you 250,000 songs.
Not bad.
Go.
Not bad.
250,000 songs anywhere you want. It's such an iTunes, Google Music, Spotify hybrid. And it works if it wasn't for the fact that they're still missing, 4 other labels.
Right.
You're still missing Def Jam. You're still missing Interscope. There's a lot out there
Right.
you still don't have. But for $25 a year, are you willing to take the risk? I use Spotify and Zune. That's my combination. I'm kind of happy in that world. I live there. I'm good. And then I use my listen online through Sirius
Right.
when I don't want to listen to recorded things.
Boy, that sounds like my exact setup.
Right? Pandora has just not been
Oh,
doing
I
it for
can't
me
use it
lately.
anymore.
Last FM has not been doing it for me. iTunes, I don't even have it installed on the computer. I had to go install it to fix our RSS feed.
And then you reformatted your computer.
I did. I think that's the reason it slowed down. I can't prove it, but Apple just works. Are you going to give Amazon a test drive? I like the service. And I always like Amazon for what they do, but 60% right most of the time for
See,
me.
I'm on the other side. I mostly don't like Amazon for the things that they do. Their cloud services had a massive failure because of no forward thinking.
And when that happens, all of this shuts down.
Yes.
That's kind of worrisome.
They've had I have had problems with purchasing things through Amazon. They rectified it, but it was almost 45 days later.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm not a big fan of Amazon myself, and the website is impossible to navigate.
Especially when you want to limit things down that you want to purchase. But the interesting thing is here, they're doing all of these different streaming service capabilities because of their AWS, which doesn't work to begin with. So it seems like all of this is just
Yay!
half effort. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want to see them succeed. I think this puts a lot of pressure on Google Music. And I don't think Google should... Do you really want Google to know what you're listening to? Really? Pandora does a bad enough job at that. Do you really want Google listening? No. No, you don't.
It's that webcam in your house thing all over again.
Illinois should ban Google.
Huh.
Breaking news, Amazon buys Google. Why not, right? So let us know. That's the question of the day. Follow us on Facebook. Let us know. Will you listen to the cloud music player? Were you affected by the AWS shortage, the Amazon Web Service downtime for 3 days because of a storm? It rains here every day. We've missed one show because of it in 5 years.
It's true.
During a hurricane, we were broadcasting.
Yes.
Because we had power. Something sneezed and we lost power that other week, but whatever. I can't explain this state.
I know.
I just know we're always here.
We
and
are.
we use GoDaddy. 4G hosting seems to work for us. Let us know if you're going to use it too.
CES2.
At checkout. That's our show.
It is.
I want to thank Avram Pilch. She's great. That list is going to be awesome. There was a lot of chatter and arguments about what won't and will be here in 15 years on his Facebook.
I know.
I helped with that. You're welcome.
Yeah.
Make sure you're subscribed, especially when we head out to Miami in just a little bit. F5live.tv. Click the subscribe buttons on the right-hand side. Audio, video, and social and special events all there for you. Do it now.
Now.
Anyway, Facebook, iTunes, Zune, F5live.tv, any other streaming service. We want to thank you guys for listening to us for 269 episodes. We appreciate it.
It's 269.
I'm sorry.
It's a verb.
It's a foursome.
Going for multiplication, I was going for verb, but yes, that's fun.
269.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
Put parentheses in there. It's a multiplication.
I gotcha. Stay tuned for the post blog. F5live.tv/join us. Chat with us. We want to talk to you people. Live streaming in Miami. Do not miss out. It's going to be crazy. We're going to be the best thing that's there. Other than the 3000 Brigade. You got to go check them out.
It's gonna be crazy.
3kbrigade.com. So on behalf of the staff that's not here, I'm Nick.
And I'm Scott.
We are your favorite people, and we're here for you every Sunday night at 9 p.m. So keep yourself plugged in. We'll see you guys next week. Piece of chicken grease.
Ciao.
269.
269.